Hostage chess. How to play. The rules are the same as regular chess except for these changes. For a refresher of those rules, check out this video. Each player has a prison on the right side of their board and an airfield on the left. Whenever you capture a piece, you place that piece in your prison. On your turn, instead of making a normal move, you may perform a hostage exchange. Transfer one of your prisoners to your opponent's airfield to take an appropriate piece from their prison and place that piece on an empty space on the board. This is called dropping a piece. The piece transferred must be of equal or greater value than the piece released from prison. The relative piece values are: queen is the highest, followed by rook, then bishop and knight are of the same level, with pawn at the lowest level. A hostage exchange may not be refused by your opponent. After you drop the released prisoner, your turn ends. On your turn, instead of moving, you may drop any piece that is in your airfield. You may drop pieces to any empty space on the board. You may drop a piece to give check or checkmate. You may not drop a pawn on the first or last row. If you drop a pawn on the second row, that pawn is allowed the two-step move option. You may not use en passant when a pawn is dropped. Your pawns may only be promoted to pieces higher than the pawn if that piece is available in your opponent's prison. You pick which piece to promote to and replace that pawn with that piece in your opponent's prison. Captured promoted pieces are placed in the prison and treated as that piece. If there are no pieces available to promote to, then the pawn may not advance to the 8th row. Furthermore, if your opponent's king is diagonally in front of the pawn and there are no available pieces to promote to, then the king is not in check as the pawn is unable to advance to the 8th row. However, your opponent would also not be allowed to capture any piece that your pawn could promote to, as that would immediately put the player in self-check. A dropped rook on a rook starting space may be used in castling so long as all the normal castling requirements are followed. You may drop a bishop on either color. The first player to checkmate their opponent wins.